All right, welcome to this explainer. If you're a business leader evaluating AI investments right now, you already know that generative AI has rapidly moved from just being this massive industry buzzword into a fundamental driver of real bottom-line impact. We're not talking about sci-fi or futuristic concepts anymore. We're talking about enterprise strategies that are literally reshaping competitive advantage for years to come. So today we're unpacking a really comprehensive guide from Anthropic to show you exactly how to start, scale, and actually succeed with trusted AI.
Listen to this. Right out of the gate, early adopting top performers are already attributing over 10% of their earnings directly to generative AI implementations. Think about that for a second. 10%. That is a massive shift in a highly competitive landscape. And it's happening because these leaders, well, they aren't just experimenting. They're methodically building strong foundations in scaling exactly what works.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the exact playbook we'll cover today. First, the AI competitive advantage. Second, selecting high-impact pilots. Third, our 4-phase implementation roadmap. Fourth, security and compliance frameworks. And finally, building trust through governance. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the AI competitive advantage. The business impact here is undeniably clear, with practical productivity boosts happening right now across some major business functions. Customer support teams, they're cutting response times by 20 to 35%. Back office operations are seeing massive efficiency jumps. We're talking 20 to 50% more efficient. Content creators are accelerating their workflows by up to 50%, and engineering teams are shaving off 15% of their coding time. I mean, these aren't just marginal tweaks, right? These are foundational shifts in how the work actually gets done.
And look, this strategic innovation is absolutely being validated at the highest levels. Just listen to this insight from Stefan Pretorius, the Chief Technology Officer over at WPP. He notes that by harnessing cutting-edge AI, they're enhancing processes, empowering their people, and driving innovation. The key takeaway for us here is that AI isn't coming in to replace your workforce. It's empowering them to deliver exceptional results so much faster.
That brings us right to Section 2, selecting high-impact pilots. So if you want to build real organizational momentum, you can't just throw AI at every problem all at once. You have to pick the right initial projects. The bad approach? Giving into the temptation to tackle the absolute biggest opportunity first. That's essentially trying to boil the ocean, which usually means taking on extreme operational risks and totally ignoring data or compliance hurdles. Actually, scratch that instinct. The pragmatic, good approach is selecting a pilot that strikes a perfect balance. You want a use case that's business critical, for sure, but carries a low security risk. It should feature abundant, high-quality data, have meaningful metrics attached to it, and most importantly, offer a clear, demonstrable return on investment.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how to map specific, measurable success metrics to your chosen pilot. Because to build unstoppable confidence across your org, you need concrete targets, not just vague goals like improved performance. Doing ticket routing, you want to see routing accuracy go up and cost per ticket go down. Launching a customer chatbot, your targets are increased customer satisfaction scores and decreased time to resolution. For code generation, you're tracking reduced time on routine coding and higher overall developer productivity. And for data analysis, it's all about decreasing the time to insight while increasing your ability to handle large, diverse datasets. Tying AI performance directly to these core business objectives is what builds incredible momentum.
Moving on to Section 3, our 4-phase implementation roadmap.
The most successful enterprise AI programs don't just happen overnight. They evolve, kind of like compound interest, right? Where each phase multiplies the value of your previous investments. Months 1 through 3 are strictly for foundation building, establishing your governance, checking infrastructure, assembling your core team. This stops massive failures later on. Months 4 through 6 are for pilot implementation, watching those contained projects we just talked about and measuring the outcomes. Then, months 7 through 12 are all about strategic scaling, taking your early wins, optimizing things, and expanding across different business units. Finally, month 13 and beyond, that's when you hit broad enterprise adoption, deeply embedding AI right into the operational fabric of your company. To really anchor the potential of this roadmap, consider this absolutely staggering example from Novo Nordisk. Waheed Jawiya, their digitalization strategy lead, reported that they reduced the time taken to create clinical study reports from 12 weeks down to just 10 minutes. No way, right? But here's the real kicker. Each day sooner a medicine gets to market can add around $15 million in revenue to their company. That is the kind of bottom-line impact a well-executed roadmap can deliver. But listen, I know 13 months sounds like a lifetime in the tech world. The good news is, with the right level of motivation and the right partnership, that timeline can be drastically condensed. Highly motivated teams are securing early competitive edges by turning months into weeks. Feathersnap, for instance, integrated an AI solution in under 90 days. DoorDash built an entire voice-operated self-service contact center solution in just 2 months. If you've got the drive, the foundation can be laid super rapidly.
Section 4. Security and Compliance Frameworks.
Of course, moving that fast brings up a huge anxiety for any C-suite: security. Now, what's really interesting about this is how framing these components not as IT hurdles, but as foundational pillars actually creates the momentum you need to scale safely. Pillar 1 is data protection, strict encryption, access controls, privacy measures. Pillar 2 is compliance management, ensuring you're adhering to internal policies and regulatory standards. And Pillar 3 is monitoring and auditing, comprehensive activity logging and performance tracking. Build these in from day one and you completely remove the friction that normally stalls enterprise-wide rollouts.
And finally, Section 5, Building Trust Through Governance. This is all about the people, the processes, and the continuous oversight needed to manage these powerful models responsibly. Have you heard of LLM Ops? It stands for Large Language Model Operations. It's an essential concept. Basically, it's the specific set of practices and principles focused on operationalizing these models in a production environment. Deploying generative AI is vastly different from traditional software or even standard machine learning. It requires managing way higher computational demands, complex training, and entirely new ways of prompting and interacting with your data.
You'd think the tech is the hard part, right? Well, the biggest hurdle to mastering LLM Ops actually isn't the technology itself. A BCG survey of executives found that a massive 62% cited a talent and skills shortage as their primary challenge. You need strategic vision from the C-suite, change management skills from your managers, and practical tool proficiency for your frontline workers. Upskilling is absolutely vital here.
So the crucial point is, how do we bridge that talent gap and build an unshakable foundation of trust? It comes down to these 5 interconnected best practices for LLM Ops. Number 1, robust monitoring and observability. You've got to track output quality and token usage, which is essentially the computing cost. Number 2, systematic prompt management. Treat your prompts just like code, with version control and testing. Number 3, building security and compliance by design, like we talked about. Number 4, balancing scalable infrastructure with strict cost management. And number 5, continuous quality assurance. You have to maintain constant feedback loops to catch quality issues or hallucinations, which is when the AI confidently makes up false information. Each of these practices directly supports the other. We've covered the practical productivity gains, the framework for picking the right pilot, the roadmap to scale, the security pillars, and the governance required for LLM Ops. You now have the executive playbook. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Is your organization actually ready to turn AI potential into a real, measurable competitive advantage? The roadmap is right there. It's time to take the first step. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I look forward to exploring more fascinating frameworks with you next time.